One. All right, so hello. I am so excited. We have Angela Louise with us today. Now, hi. I'm just gonna give you a little intro. Just let me gush for a minute. So, Angela happens to be a very talented actress, but I grew up knowing her. So it's been so cool to watch her ascension. I mean, and I'm sure it's not even anywhere near where it's going to get to. It is, but it's taken off. So I'm excited for her. I've been trying to get her on here for a while. We've been having schedule conflicts, but we finally made it happen. So I'm so excited to bring you guys this video and this recording. For the people who get to see the video, that's a whole other thing. But short intro. We all know you're from Detroit because this is the Detroit Hustle podcast. But I want you to give us a little bit of your intro as if, you know, we don't know anything about you and we're learning about this interesting, talented woman from Detroit. So just give us a few minutes of where you come from. Who are you and what are you about?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Detroit. I was raised, the first part of my life, I grew up always on the east side, but the first part was on St. Clair by Van Dyke and so I don't even remember where. And then I moved over to Jefferson and Dickerson area, and that's where I kind of, I was a teenager there, so that's what I remember the most. No, I do have very, very vivid memories of St. Clair, like corner stores and all my friends on the block and riding the bikes down. But I grew up on Newport near Jefferson and Dickerson. I went to Bates Academy. Well, I guess I got to go back. I went to Joy Middle School for preschool.
Okay.
And then Damon J. Keith Elementary School from kindergarten through the first half of third grade.
Okay.
And then I got into Bates and I transferred halfway through. And so I spent second semester of third grade at Bates and I was there until 8th grade. And then I went to...
Now see, that's funny. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I thought you were one of the ones of us that started from kindergarten. I did not.
No, that was my sister. My sister got in first.
And for all of you that don't know, her sister and I were in the same class. So I just assumed because you were the bigger sister, you started there first, and that's why she started.
I think I was on the wait list for a long time or something, if I recall correctly. Yeah.
Wow.
So I remember wanting to go to Bates, but then I was devastated when it actually happened. I got sent home because my best friend and I were on the playground crying so hard that I had a headache and my grandmother had to come pick me up from school and lunch.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Wow. And for those of you listening that don't know what Bates Academy is all about, let me tell you. Let's just take a couple minutes. It deserves it. So Bates Academy is a gifted and talented elementary middle school in Detroit. It was very special in the sense that it's almost like a private school, I would say, but it was public. People thought it was magnet. It was not. You did have to take a test for admission, but I mean, we had some of the brightest kids and the most talented teachers. We were very, very fortunate to have that breeding ground to grow from. It's so unique. And I thank my lucky stars. Because when I hear of other people's experiences, and I even got a chance to go to another school in another state for a year and a half, it paled in comparison. I was so happy to come back because it wasn't the same. That was just a really, I mean, and it still exists, so it's not gone.
Right.
That place is just sacred ground.
And it's so funny, I hear about people talk about, that grew up in urban areas, even Detroit, and they talk about how, they were teased for being smart, and so they would dumb themselves down. But at Bates, if you wasn't smart, you go sit in the corner. You really, it was all about them A's or E's. E's were for excellent in our school. So, if you wasn't bringing it, you were embarrassed.
Exactly. So we had the flip-flop, which was good. I think it was a great experience to have. All right, so I want to get all into the journey because I know tidbits about your journey up until where you are now, and I don't know where you're headed next. I'm sure there's some exciting things on the horizon, but I know that you did a lot of artistic things in school. I know you danced. I know you did acting. I don't think you didn't play an instrument, right?
I played the saxophone for like a semester.
Oh yes, that's right. You did. Okay, I do remember that.
Yes, I had to share a saxophone with Priscilla Crockett.
Priscilla, if you're listening, we love you.
Yes.
So you've had your toe in the arts for quite a long time. I know you went to Tony's dance school also, right?
Yeah, I went to Detroit, Windsor. Yeah.
Okay, so I went to Tony's dance school as.
Oh, you went to Tony's. Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer that you were going to end up in the arts as a professional, right? Did you ever want to do anything else?
No, I remember at one point telling my parents I wanted to be a movie star and a lawyer, just because. I don't know.
I love it.
Yeah, that lawyer part quickly came and went.
I don't blame you. I think you made the better choice. Can I say that? As a lawyer, can I say that? So, like, when was the moment, I guess, you knew you were going to kind of take that path of where you're at now? Like, was it a certain job or a certain class, or what was it for you that gave you that kind of affirmation, like, yes, this is the path for me?
Yeah, I think there was no one moment. I think there's been many moments over time that have consistently affirmed this is the right path for you. It's always, it's been a challenge every step of the way, but for all the challenges, there were many, many more yeses. Yes, you can do this. Yes, come on in. Yes, we love you. Yes, you're talented. Yes, keep going, things like that. So.
Okay. And we can't gloss over, you also did go to the illustrious Cass Technical High School in Detroit.
I did. I went to Cass Tech. I majored in performing arts. I was in the Performing Arts Guild and Readers Theater.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, you had also another great platform there with Miss McCormick, right? She's the guru of all things performing arts.
Tony Award-winning teacher.
Oh, she is. I didn't know that. I know she won that award recently. Was that like a couple years? Okay. Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. So you come from great stock, Angela. So what was your first big job? So did you go straight to New York? Let's get into that, because that's the part I don't really know.
Yeah. So after Cass, I went to University of Michigan and I majored in theater. Mm-hmm. Got my degree, and then I actually taught in Detroit for a year at Spain Middle School, K through 8, actually K through 8, as a drama teacher to save up my money to move to New York.
Really?
Yes, I did.
Interesting. Okay. And then what happened?
So then I moved to New York and, hit the ground running. We had, I moved with a dear friend of mine, Dominique Mariso.
Oh, yes.
A Detroit person, yes. Mm-hmm. So we moved to New York together and we stayed with a friend for a month in New Jersey. And in that month, we had to find an apartment and find a job and all that. So we did that.
Okay.
And we officially moved. We lived in Brooklyn. And, there was a paper at the time. I don't think they make the paper anymore. Gosh, that makes me feel old. But that was online or something. But there was an actual trade publication called The Backstage. And in the Backstage, towards the back, they would list all the auditions for anything that was non-union, anything that was some union stuff, like plays, you could come and hope that you're going to get seen. They had some film and TV stuff, but very, very little. And usually was background, whatever. But I did background. I wasn't.
No shame in your game, right?
Yeah, this was the very beginning. So I was doing everything I could. Mm-hmm. A lot of plays, a lot of staged readings. And that's really how I got my start. I would go up to Harlem to a group called the Frank Silvera Writers Workshop. And it was a collective of writers, and, they wanted to hear their work out loud. And so they would get actors to come every week and read their plays or their scenes. And so, I just went up there and this writer liked my work, and so then the next writer wanted to use me, and then word got around that I was a good actress, and so people would be calling me, and then that kind of turned into writers downtown that needed or were doing readings, and so I was getting calls from all over the place, and on top of auditions, and eventually I landed my first manager, who was more like a commercial manager.
Okay.
So then I started booking commercials, and that was a whole new world, and luckily brought in some money.
Mm-hmm, right. That's the main
I was struggling.
That's the New York story. That's the New York story.
It is no joke.
No. I was there for about 4 months between September of 2008 and January of 2009, i.e. the tanking of the economy.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun. I know it was fun. I probably had more fun in that 4 months than I had my whole life.
Yeah.
But you see, I didn't stay. The whole job market money thing didn't quite work out.
Right.
But I had a blast.
Yes.
I stayed in Jersey City. My cousin was in Jersey City at the time.
Okay.
So I know about the PATH train commuting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So in my spare time, I was when I first got there, my first job was as a dance teacher. Okay. And then and it wasn't even like a full-time thing. It was like an after-school program. And so that didn't pay very well, and had bills to pay. And our first landlord, we had to pay 6 months rent up front. Wow. So that wiped out like our savings. So it was like, time to
hustle time.
Yeah. So at the time I was dancing with this semi-professional dance company, and one of the girls in the company said she was a bartender and that I should go to bartending school and I could make some good money. And I was like, you know what? That sounds like I should do that. So I did that, and I became a bartender, and that's how I made my money on the side, while I was auditioning. And it was great because I had my days free.
Right.
So I didn't, wasn't prohibited from auditioning and things like that. And then, go to work at night. And it was good for a long time until the economy tanked, and then
there we were, like, what? Excuse me.
Right.
I mean, literally, just briefly detour. That was the craziest thing. I was looking for jobs. I was in Tallahassee, Florida at the time. I'm looking for jobs remotely. They are blowing my phone up for about a month up until I get there, right? Like, when are you coming? We have so many jobs. When are you coming? When are you coming? I was like, I'll be there in 3 weeks.
Right.
I stepped foot on the pavement. Not 2 days later, I had interviews lined up and everything. By the time lunchtime hit that day, I had one interview. It went great. Went to have lunch on Wall Street. I heard men on cell phones like, oh my God. And I was like, oh, that can't be good.
Right.
Go to that second interview, and the lady was like, we don't have anything. Everything's dried up. We don't know if people are going to stop litigating, keep litigating. So we don't have anything for you. I'm like, I just moved over 1,000 miles. You said you had, just like, I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, this is going to be interesting.
Yep. And in the nightclub industry, it was interesting because it didn't dry up right away. People I think were like, I don't have a job, let me go get a drink,
Right.
And also, I was working at,
posh places.
No. Well, this place was like, it was in Manhattan in like a prime area. So it wasn't hood, but it was still us.
Gotcha,
you know what I mean?
gotcha.
But there were definitely some people who were making their money.
Yes, in undisclosed ways.
Yeah, so that money stayed for a little while. Yes, but it was interesting because we had an after work crowd, and then that crowd died down a little bit faster than like the nightclub crowd.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was interesting.
Yeah. So then like, so you're bartending, you're teaching, you're doing auditions, and then, so how do we get from, because you're in LA now.
Yeah, I'm in LA.
How do we get from New York to LA? Give us that connector.
Yeah, so I stopped teaching and I was doing mostly the bartending and the acting thing. And then I was working I was in New York for a total of 13 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then I did a play called Milk Like Sugar. It was cast out of New York. But the first leg of it was in San Diego.
Okay.
At a place called La Jolla Playhouse. And during that play, I met a guy.
Oh, I know where this is
going.
Tell us about him. Wink, wink. Like,
amazing. But we ended up really hitting it off, and we fell in love. And he was in the play, and we played love interest. But actually, he was the one that got away in the play. So, yeah.
Luckily, the life did not reflect the art.
Exactly. He didn't get away in real life. But so when we did that play in San Diego, that was the first time that I had ever been to California.
Oh, wow.
And yeah.
What year was that?
Huh?
What year was that?
That was 2011. 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 2011.
Okay.
And we were on break and I was sitting on the patio eating my lunch, and I saw a hummingbird, a bunny rabbit, and some butterflies all within like 10 minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love it here. So then fast forward, we get back to New York. The second leg of the production was done in New York. And we're in New York, and me and the guy, we're still like seeing each other and like, oh, okay. And it gets really serious pretty quickly. And he is like, after the show was over, he's like, yeah, I want to move to LA. He's always wanted to live in LA. And I was like, I'm not quite ready to move to LA. Give me a year. Let me see what I can put together. So in that year, he did actually come out here to LA for like 3 months or something like that. And that was interesting. But he came back. And then in that year, what happened? Well, we got engaged. And he was getting ready to take an interview with his agency's LA office. Okay. And at the time, because of that show that we did together, I had gotten a new agent and manager, and they were both bi-coastal companies. Oh. And I was like, well, you going to LA and taking meetings? I want to go to LA and take a meeting. That's what I did. I came out to LA, and both offices were like, yeah, come on, like, please. And so that it worked out. And so we were engaged for a year. And in that year, we planned our wedding in Detroit, our honeymoon in Bali, and our move to LA. And, wow. And how we managed to do all of that, it was crazy, but we did it. And I've been here in LA going on 5 years now.
Didn't he do a proposal video?
Yes, he did.
I remember that. Good old Facebook.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like I was there at that point.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very, very sweet. I remember. Like,
thank you.
Well, congratulations and keeping it going strong. And so, you both being in the industry, how does that affect your relationship positively or negatively?
Yeah, I mean, it's different for everybody, but I think I try to look at every relationship, no matter if I'm with another actor or with a banker or whatever. Relationships are relationships. And, there's going to be things that help the relationship itself, and there's going to be things that are challenges. And so, I think us both being actors helps in that we speak the same language. There's a shortcut, in terms of, I don't have to explain why I got to get up early in the morning and then don't come home until late at night when I'm shooting, or, I got to pay this amount of money for the publicist, and you know what I mean? Like, he gets it.
Right.
The challenge comes in where, well, you know, there's sometimes money challenges, if, you know, especially back when we were like struggling, you know, like,
the old days.
Right. You know, like, who, you know, you got your half of the rent this month, you know what I mean? Like, you know, or, you know, a lot of people, I've heard that people feel like when they're with another actor, it's too much ego, it's too much, you know, like one person needs to be the star and that's it. I don't really think of my life and my career in that way. I feel like, you know, I've been in you know, past relationships with another actor, and if I'm in a bad place and they're booking a lot of work and I'm not, their jealousy can creep in.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm in a bad place.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
You have to learn over time not to be jealous about other people, whether it's another, you know, woman or a man. I've been jealous of my guy friends who are booking stuff, and there's no way I would have booked that role.
Right.
And we're not in a relationship, but I'm like, God.
I know, right? But I mean, and I think too, it's also important, not so much as to not feel, I mean, we're human, we have emotions.
Right, absolutely.
Don't let it fuel you to envy or to be bitter.
Exactly.
Make it fuel you to try to get more bookings so you can be in that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I understand that. That makes a whole lot of sense.
And as a team, right, and as a team, you know, he wins one, I win one. You know, we winning for the team, you know. So, you know, I think it works well for us. Now, do we argue when we have to help each other, you know, put ourselves on tape, you know, for auditions at home? Yes.
You're like,
and we have had to learn how to, you know, give the other person what they need or ask what they need. When you want me to run lines, do you want it word for word, or you talking about just the general little things like that can start a really big argument.
I mean, communication. It's all about communication.
Exactly.
All right, so now let's get to the big macaroni. I'm sorry, because I've just been wanting to know, like, okay, so for those of you that don't know, Angela stars in a show on FX called Snowfall, which is going into its 3rd season, correct? You are filming season 3 currently. All right. And she plays Auntie Louie, which I have to tell you, it totally stunned me to see you play that role. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she's not like that in real life. But you do it so well. It's so unnerving. Like, wait a minute, she's good at this. She's way better than I knew she was. And then the other co-winky. Oh, and we forgot to mention your boo is from the D too, correct?
That's right. My boo is from the D, born and raised, East Side.
Yes. Okay, I had to throw that in there. But anyway, backtracking. The other co-winky thing about the show is my cousin is a PA. Coco, the greatest PA in LA.
Yes, she is.
Oh, yes, she is on the show too. And I didn't figure all of it out until I went to visit her a couple of years ago, and she had the wrap gifts. Hey,
oh, wow.
Do you know Angela? I went to school with her. And then she was like, oh, yeah. So then, you know, and then you guys, so they are so fabulous. I got to tell the story. So I'm just sitting around one day, and I get this, once we made the connection, I told my cousin, hey, check out Angela, let her know we're related. And then I let you know that was my cousin. And then I just get this random selfie of these two glowing beauties. Oh, where's that John Singleton's 50th birthday party? I'm like, what? See, I visited at the wrong time. That's what happened. But I'm just so proud of both of you.
Thank you. When she told me, all she did was say, do you know Melinda Powers? And I was like, you're totally her family. Oh my God. So clear. I was like, you guys look just alike.
And I tell you, more people think that she and I are sisters than her and her own sister.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, she's awesome. And she's flourished since she was in New York for a long time. And when she went to LA,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that time I was there, she was there. I think she was still there when I went there. Because she was a bartender too, and she hooked me up one of her jobs. I had a lot of nice champagne cocktails for free. But anyway, back to the point. Now, my favorite. Oh, so what's coming up next? If you can give us a little sneak peek into anything you're working on or something that you've already finished that's coming that we can look out for. But Snowfall, everybody check it out. I just got to tell you, it's not even my type of genre that I watch, but the show is so compelling. And I'm like, I'm all in. I've watched every episode, and I'm like,
oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, but that's totally not my scene. But I'm like, this is a good show, and I like it because it shows all the sides, and you really get a great insight to all the characters.
Yeah,
it's just, I think it's very well done.
Thank you.
And I'm just like, what's she gonna do this season? She's so crazy.
Oh yeah, it really is. He's on a journey. Yeah. It's intense. It's intense.
I'm ready. I can't wait.
I'm very excited.
Yes, I'll be like clutching my pearls probably.
Right, exactly. There's gonna be a lot of pearl clutching this year. Yeah.
Okay, I'm prepared. Thank you. That'll give me a little preparation. So like, what's coming up for Angela? Let us know what's going on.
So Angela is really, I took this past hiatus to really just travel. We went to Costa Rica, we went to Cancun, we went to Europe for 2 weeks. I had never been to Europe. So we went to Paris and Interlaken, Switzerland, and Venice and Florence and Barcelona and back to Paris. Like, we just really lived it up. I think in the very near future, we want to start a family. So we just kind of like travel as much as possible and like do us, we got to settle down.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be adorable little children.
Thank you.
Little thespians running around. That'll be so cute. All right. So now, so we're focusing on the transition is what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we'll be ready for that.
Yeah. I mean, I did, it's been like 2 years now, a short film called Let Them Die Like Lovers that you can watch on Amazon. Yes.
It's good, y'all. It's good.
Yes. It's an espionage thriller type mind-bending thing. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we can get that made into a feature length. And,
that'd be hot.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things like on the burners, bubbling, but everything is still too new, too early to like really, say.
Gotcha. I know it's like that in Hollywood. So, I know better. It's like maybe she can give us a little something. But we'll be looking for the little thespians. That's why I'm excited. Now the absolute most important part is we've already gone a little long, and I'm not mad about it. I hope you're not either. We're gonna get right into it. Okay, so the Detroit stuff. This is the stuff that's the meat of this broadcast because this is the Detroit Hustle podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna ask you like one question. Give me a little snippet, and then we're going to go into the Fab Five. So the one question is, as far as your roots, in your experience, what makes the D so special to you?
The D is so special because I feel like it was such a hodgepodge of life is the word that keeps popping out, right? Mm-hmm. So like you had, I'm going to talk about this from my perspective as a Black woman and at the time a young Black girl, right? But you had a whole community of Black people. Some of us were being pushed to do great things. And then you had other parts of the community where that wasn't happening so much, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so my experience was of Detroit, like Detroit in my mind is like Belle Isle on the best summer day, right? You know what I mean? And but then there's like this area, on the periphery that was not so great, and that those two worlds managed to live side by side, but still create all of these jewels that have come out of it. To me, is just mind-blowing and really, really special.
Mm.
You know, I had such an amazing village in Detroit. Like, yeah, it was. I had an incredible village, and I wish that every kid had, you know, an experience like I did.
Oh, wow. You just encapsulated the whole spirit of this show with that.
Mm.
I got chills. I got you.
Oh, good.
You're making my job a whole lot easier. All right, so the Fab Five. So what I call the Fab Five is a segment where I ask you 5 questions about your favorite Detroit things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Fab Five is also a play off of, you know, the U of M basketball team back in the day.
Yes.
So let's get into it. Number 1, your favorite place or landmark in the D.
I don't even know if it still exists, but the Giant Slide is really one of my favorite places.
It does. I think it does.
Okay, good.
I want to say when we had our 20-year reunion this past August, someone filmed one of our classmates busting his ass going pretty badly, if I remember correctly. So I think I can say with confidence it's still there. And for those of you that don't know, the Giant Slide is on Belle Isle.
Yeah.
Which is like a recreational mecca. Yeah. And it's very beautiful in the summer. And the Giant Slide is like, that's childhood, you know, personified. Love it.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So 2, your favorite restaurant or dish, past or current. So you can go anywhere with this.
Oh.
See, I made that hard.
That is hard. Oh, man. Here's what I remember the most. I remember my experience at Fishbones having alligator for the first time.
Yes.
That moment kind of defined something for me. I don't know what that was about. But, you know, and I just remember the fountain in the back. Like, it was a whole, like, moment.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I remember Big Boys used to be one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Is there something that when you go back to visit that you have to eat?
Well, see, I'm vegan now.
Oh,
so
well,
it's a little different. But I'm loving the fact,
no conies for you.
No conies for me. But before I became vegan, I did used to have to go back and get a coney every time. I got a coney, and I got I stopped drinking pop in my teenage years.
That's why you look so young. You're vegan. You don't drink pop.
Yeah, I had to cut that out. My skin was like bloop, 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 bloop. But Better Made chips. I still have to get my Better Made chips.
Okay, so there's one. Better Made chips.
Better Made chips. Yes. And I would like every now and again get burners.
Regular barbecue.
Barbecue. Onion. I used to really like the Red Hots.
Okay.
And then they at some point became too spicy, so I would just stick with
original. Okay, barbecue.
Barbecue.
All right.
I like to have a little bit sweet.
Okay, a little bit of something, but not too spicy. Okay, yeah. I'm with you on that because I can't handle the heat. I'm a spicy. All right, number 3. Your favorite downtown event. It can include a festival, fireworks, parade, auto show. Downtown event. Downtown only.
Man, my favorite one? Hart Plaza. Mm-hmm. What was my favorite event in Hart? Probably the African American Festival. Mm-hmm. Was that what it was called? African
World Festival.
African World Festival. Yeah, I think that was my favorite because that one, you know, was very like cultural, but also lots of boys.
That's what I went for.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I have to say that one was my favorite.
Okay. Number 4, your favorite sports team.
Pistons, of course.
Woo! Woo! I don't tell mine. I like them all for the show, but I'll never tell my favorite. But I can say that I probably participated in more celebrations for the Pistons than any other team.
Yes. I have never gone to a Red Wings game. And yeah. But I used to go back to the Tigers games back when Sparky Anderson was the coach.
Oh, yeah. He was the man.
Yeah. So those were cool, but definitely the Pistons.
The bad boys, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. They have a special place. They
do.
And then our fifth one, number 5, is your favorite Detroit memory. Now you talked about fish bones. That's cool.
Yeah.
But Detroit just something that's so Detroit. You just can't. Nothing can ever top it because it's just such a Detroit memory.
Okay. The thing that pops up first is, and I might be aging myself, but I was at Bates, and we were on our way to a school trip to Boblo. And I remember driving in the car on the way to the boat, and Ready or Not by After 7 came on. And for some reason, I don't know if it's because I was so excited and I just love that song as well, but to this day, every time I hear that song, I am immediately back in the car on the way to the Boblo boat.
Wow.
Every time I hear that song. And that day was just such an amazing day. And I remember getting on the boat and we were partying and then get to the island, and it was so much fun. Like that day was just like, I'm getting chilled. Like I remember, it was just a great, great day. And
sounds like it.
Who else had Boblo? But us and Canadian.
Right. Pablo was really special.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that since.
No.
Man. Well, I'm so sad because this is the end of the podcast. I wish this could go on longer.
Me too.
You got things to do. You're on the West Coast. It's still kind of early for you. I've been up since God knows when this morning, so it's about time for me to give it up and lay it down. But I am so happy we finally got to make this happen.
Me too. Thank you, Melinda.
No, thank you. The pleasure was all mine. Everybody, please support this wonderful actress and proud Detroit native, Angela Louise.
Yeah.
We'll include, all of is there any hashtag or anything you want to throw out for people that want to follow you? I want to make sure you get your shine.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at LoveAngelaLewis, LUV Angela Lewis.
All right. You heard her at Love Angela Lewis. And we love Angela Lewis over here at the Detroit Hustle Podcast, y'all. Thank you so much. I'm so excited for you, and I can't wait to see what comes next. Snowfall, y'all. Watch Snowfall.
Snowfall. It's amazing.
You won't regret it.
Get your life. Yeah.
Get your life all the way together. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. We'll be tuning back in next week. But for now, we got Angela here. Thank you, Angela. Round of applause. Have a good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.